In this video, we are going to talk regarding Power Query and who is the audience for Power Query. If you want to automate your regular task in Excel without writing a line of code, Power Query is something you need to look at. The moment you start the application of Excel, you need to assume you haven't started a single application. You have started three applications simultaneously. The first one is the spreadsheet where generally you are working. The second is Power Query and the third is Power Pivot. In this video, we are going to discuss regarding Power Query. So, Power Query is basically used to automate your task. Let me give you an example for this.
In this example, we have three sheets, Jan, Feb and March. This is the January data. Similarly, we have the Feb data and we have the March data. What we want to do is to consolidate the data into a single sheet. Step number one, we need to access Power Query. To access Power Query, we need to go to the Data tab. Under the Data tab, under the Get and Transform Data group, we need to go into Get Data. Under Get Data, you will see the option called Launch Power Query Editor. When we click on Launch Power Query Editor, you can look at the interface of the program. The entire interface of the program is different. If you look at your spreadsheet has 4 sheets, whereas Power Query has no data at all. So what we have to do is transfer the data from the spreadsheet to Power Query. So in order to do that, I select the data. Under the Data tab, under the Get and Transform Data, we have the option called From Table. In that case, that data is now transferred from the spreadsheet into Power Query. I will need to repeat the same steps for the remaining tables. Now we have our 3 tables appearing in Power Query. The first thing you need to see is that the entire interface is different and you cannot do any data entry in Power Query. Even if you try to write something, you are unable to write anything. Now what we want to do is we want to append these 3 tables into a single table so that we can create a pivot table out of this table. So for that, in Excel itself, we have the option over here which says append queries. Yes, if you were unaware of this feature, you would basically go and look for a VBA macro in order to complete this task for you. So I will quickly use this option of append. I have given it a name called entire dataset, and now I will load this data back into my spreadsheet. So what we need to understand, we have the Jan data, Feb data, March data, then this data goes into Power Query. And after Power Query, the data is loaded into this new spreadsheet called entire dataset. There you go. And now what do I have? I have the entire dataset which has the data from January, Feb as well as March. And now when I go ahead and I make a pivot table, that pivot table will have the data from all the 3 months together. Now this was only one of the feature of Power Query. Interestingly, there are many features. Once you start using Power Query, you will not need to write formulas like XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, match, index, calculations. You can automate the entire process. And more important, if any modifications are made. So let's say for example, I have the word Norman is 68,000. If I make any modifications over here and I simply update my table, automatically my entire data set will get updated. You will see the updated data number. In this way, you can leverage Power Query and automate a lot of processes specifically with respect to cleaning up data. Let us just quickly go through the remaining tabs of Power Query. Once again, let's go back into Power Query Editor. So under Get Data, I have Launch Power Query Editor. Step number 1, we can load data from multiple different files, multiple different sheets, multiple different sources onto a single file. For example, under New Source, you can see the different options we have. We can load data from a CSV file, from different Excel files. We can load data from a PDF, from a JSON file, from XML, as well as a folder. To give you a context regarding a folder, let's say we created a master folder where we have an Excel file, where we have written formulas, we have done lookups. For example, the current month is January. We received the data for the month of Feb. Now we want all the transformations which were applied to January to automatically be applied to Feb, and the data should automatically get appended to January. So that for 12 months, you do not create 12 pivot tables. You need to create a single pivot table. This can be accomplished through the folder option. Now, under the Home tab, look at the different options we have. We can split data. Under split data, you can look at the options. You can compare this to text to column of the data tab, but look at the options you have. You have uppercase to lowercase, non-digit to digit. So the amount of options you have are definitely much more. Then something which would be a delight to any Excel user, using merge queries and using append. Merge is nothing but VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, and so the entire process can be automated using merge queries, and appending data we have already spoken about. Then under transform tab, you have the different transformation options where you can extract data, you can format data. Then we have add a column. You can create conditional columns over here. Conditional columns are similar to the if condition formulas which you write in your Excel spreadsheet. All these processes can be automated. And finally, the output of Power Query will be sent to the Excel spreadsheet. Remember, as a user, no user will access Power Query. The final user will only access the spreadsheet.